You should go to her then, Clarissa said. Maybe Solange does need help, and she would love to hear her mother is awake. Go into the books and see if you can find a pathway. What about the way we came in? Too obvious, he said, pacing. He grabbed a blank book off a shelf and went to the lectern to write. Wait, he said, I have an idea. He took a pen and he wrote down a list of the new creatures Solange had created in the woods. The Vrock, Hezru, the new ladybug species. Slowly his brain slowed from its racing panic and a pathway began to form in his mind. He wrote a narrative connecting all these creatures in a line across the Lake of the Clouds. He jumped from one mind to the next as a protrusion, then teetered over the edge of a cliff after jumping out of the Vrock, who had flown to a far ridge overlooking the woods between the Lake of the Clouds and Lake Superior. There was a dead one below on the forest floor. His body was still twitching. A thick white web wrapped around the man's legs. Kung retched and looked away, but it was now or never. He jumped. Down into the dead one, he had lodged himself in the dying human's mind like a virus. The strips of webbing tugged the body under the ground. Kung held his breath as they went down. The webbing pulled the man's body with Kung inside his mind down into a cave. There the body was dropped through a well, cut sharply into the rock floor. Down, down, down into the darkness they went. Kung could have breathed, but he didn't. This was his only chance to reach her. The man's body surfaced at a cave entrance at the outflow of the underground river they had traveled through. His limp corpse flopped over on his face and he bit gravel, losing several teeth. Kung sighed. Hurry up, you wicked thing, he whispered to the web. Get me into the center of Queen Mall's lair. Kelp leapt out of the water. The body lurched back, pulled under the waves of Lake Superior by the ankles. Now they were traveling more quickly, cruising toward a shadow in the distance, just a mile or two offshore. The shadow was a ship with old-fashioned sails. They flopped onto the deck in the soggy body casing, submerged just a few feet under the lake's surface. The boat rocked back and forth. Wood creaked, attracting the attention of shadowy figures in the water. The seaweed anchored itself to the deck. All of a sudden, the boat tugged downward. They were in the center of a stone henge, which opened like a trap door in the sand. They passed down into the brine pool, where they floated for a moment before sinking again down into the murky darkness. Seaweed tangled around the dead man's limbs. Kung was back in the lake of lost souls, locked inside a corpse. Brilliant plan. He had guessed correctly where the corpses were going, but now what? In the dim distance, bodies swayed in the currents on the lake bed. A limb came loose and flowed off into the darkness, waving goodbye. These people had been down here too long. The queen would be out looking for fresh victims. Kung had never noticed before that the kelp was pulsing. It was as though the energy of the trapped souls was slowly draining into the plants. The weaker the corpse, the stronger the plant. How did that life force energy reach the queen, or the destination where she must keep that energy like a battery? Through the water, maybe? Library journal portal to Lake Superior. Questioning. As I sit here alone in the field overlooking Lake Superior, on a day when the waves break over cliffs, I can't help but think I don't mind anymore that half the world burned from wildfires and war in most of the dimensions. Seagulls still coast over the birch trees here. No one seems to realize the power of a place uninhabited by people. The trees covering the porcupines have a power you can't imagine until you breathe it in. Of course, I would be a fool to think it will be like this forever. Humans will come here from the inner worlds. Magical humankind might be too big for this planet, too. Eventually, we will have to build another world all over again. Darcy, Annie, and I have so much in common, I'm not sure we should be friends. Deciding where to travel always ends in fights. Jordan helps me now with his hypnotic dreaming power to go deeper in my journeys. I didn't tell him in real life that he had entered my dreams and that I was in love with him. It hardly seemed appropriate, though I think he saw me blush more than once when he asked if I had missed him. I travel the earth plane and dark realms when Darcy is gone in the outer world, and I seek Deva allies to help me become strong enough that I can be a stronger magical human for my father. Then I can reach his level of spell song to balance the new world. I will see if Jordan can tell me more about what work he's doing in secret. The nature guardian spirits aren't telling us everything. I would be angry with them for withholding the truth, but it has occurred to me that they really might not know the full truth about what's happening either, or that the past histories may have changed. Who is in charge in this tangle of timelines spun out of control? Not me. I don't want the job of hero anymore. My mother is still struggling to speak again. I want my mother back, and I want to sleep in a place that doesn't have a sun and a moon in the sky at the same time, and a constellation of a cricket just because I was daydreaming when the sky formed.